some people say, well, where's homosexuality in violation of the Ten Commandments? Well, it's adultery. It's sexual relations outside of marriage, a man and a woman. But, of course, there are other verses that reference these specific acts and men lusting after men, etc. But specifically for the military, when anyone, whether they're homosexual or heterosexual, cannot control their hormones to the point that they are a distraction to the good order and discipline of the military, then they need to be removed from the military. Now, when I was at Fort Benning, we had people removed from the Army because they kept having affairs with other people's wives. That's detrimental.
And that is still,
and
most folks don't.
You have
most folks don't realize that's still illegal in the military. The military is a subculture of the American public. I mean,
exactly. You've been there.
And it's stricter for a reason. They have a mission, as you pointed out. It's to fight and win wars, and so they have created this subculture, which I would argue, Congressman, at one time represented their values in this subculture were the values that were shared in the broader community at one time. And
absolutely.
It's why we were more successful as a society, less societal problems. And so military leaders have said, look, we have to have this order, this discipline regarding sexuality. And it's not, as you've pointed out, not just homosexual behavior, it's heterosexual. What happens if the courts or even Congress that is currently debating this issue changes the policy? Will that not ultimately lead, if you have to say, homosexual behavior is acceptable, would not then the policies have to be changed, or the laws rather changed about heterosexual immorality?
Well, of course it would. You can't. Well, of course, I say, of course, it would. You would think that, but of course, we've already shown that through Congress that homosexuality deserves a more precious and privileged position than heterosexuality, just by some of the laws that we passed. But as you call it a subculture, and that's an interesting use of terms because it is. But can you imagine if you had the full rights of freedom of speech and freedom of assembly in the military that you have today?